Well, good morning, everyone from the Ridge. Big news on the Ridge. We got running water again. Well is all fixed. We called Gordon's Pump Service. They were out here in like an hour. Well is fixed. See if I can get my garden to grow again. It's looking a little puny back here. Stay tuned to the video. We'll list a link to Gordon's Pump Service, Southwest Missouri area. We'll list a link in the phone number. You live in this area, Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Missouri, Northeast Oklahoma. They're your people. Give them a call. Stay tuned. Like I said, we'll see if I can get my garden rejuvenated.
So we'd already had these guys out a few weeks prior to pull the well and figure out what was going on. At the time, we only had the money for them to pull and then let us and diagnose it. So after working overtime and selling up some vacation time that I had between what I had and what Tina had, I didn't have to call these guys back out. This is Gordon's Pump and Well Services out of Anderson, Missouri. I called them Friday morning right at 8 o'clock, told them we had the money, we was ready for them to come back out. They initially told us it would be Sunday or Monday. I told them that was fine. We was heading out for the weekend anyway, wouldn't be home. So in the meantime, Tina and I went to town. We had to get some tires put on the truck, and then we went to Walmart to do some errands. And when we get back, this is what we find. We find them pretty much halfway done. So it's like, well, you called, told you we'd be out, and sure enough, they was out. This is not the first time we've used Gordon's Pump Service. This is the only one that we'll use and have used for a long time. As Tina said in the intro, if you guys are in the Southwest Missouri, Northeast Oklahoma, Northwest Arkansas area, these are going to be the guys to give a call if you need well services done. They will take care of you and treat you right. You'll be able to see their phone number and everything later on this. I'll also try to remember to put it in the description. So for anybody who's not on a well and doesn't know what the deal is, anything to do with the well is really expensive. Our well sits at 520 feet, so that's deep. I do know some people's got them way deeper than that, so we're by no means deeper, but we're also not very shallow either. Right here, they're putting the wellhead back on. That'll actually be what sits on top of the ground and runs water from coming up from the ground to the pressure tank and then go on into the house and everything from there. But we got really lucky because initially they was thinking that they was going to have to replace all the wire. They did inspect the wire when they pulled it, and then they re-inspected the wire coming out. We wound up only having to lose about 6 inches of the wire where they tied it into the control box up top. And it was actually probably a little bit more than 6 inches. It was probably about a foot of the wire, I'd say. But we got very lucky, and we didn't have to replace all the wiring like what we thought we was going to have to do. So, by the grace of God, we got lucky there. We did have to get a new pump for it. The pump that we use for as deep as we are is I think it's 1.5. It may be 1 3/4 horse. I forgot to double check that when I was out there talking with them when they was out here. But in any case, it takes a little bit bigger pump for what we need. Kind of getting this thing set in the ground, ready to go right now. Figuring out what they need. Make sure everything's lining up. I do have some more work. I need rebury, and I need to build a new box to sit on top of the wellhead. I've been using that 55-gallon drum that my father-in-law had back when he was still around. That's what he kept on top of it. But I'm going to build an actual wooden box and put on top of there. Make the cover a little bit better. I can insulate it a little bit better than the pipe. So, yeah, they're getting that set back in. Trying to getting things lined up, making sure everything's going to. They had to use a strap to lower it down, and right now they're fighting trying to get the strap out from underneath from where the plate sits on top of the well housing or the casing. I'm sorry. And there's a big nut on the elbow that comes out of it. It didn't give them as much room as they thought they was going to have. So right now they're thinking about cutting, but they wound up getting lucky. They don't have to cut. They didn't have to cut their boss's strap. I'm sure he wouldn't be happy about having to replace that, which I'm sure they's going to do that on their own. But right now they're still figuring it out. Kind of resecuring everything here, putting stuff away. Mr. Church there, keep an eye out on everything, making sure everybody's doing right. Although he's got his back to the work, but that's how he does his job. Okay, he's more upset that nobody's playing with him right now. But he did do good about staying out of the way, not getting in everybody's way while they was trying to work. Right now they're looking at the wiring, they're finding the shorts. Luckily, like I said, all the shorts is within the first 12 inches of the wiring here. They first thought that it was just a couple there up close. Later they'll figure out that there's a couple more short ones. Like I said, they did do really good. They did make sure that I didn't have any other shorts going on down to the pump. They tested the wiring as well. So I am good from the control box on down. We got very lucky here that I didn't wind up having to replace all the wiring. If there would have been another short 3 or 4 inches down, we would have been having to figure something else out. Just really don't want to have to splice that. We could have spliced it for now for just a temporary band-aid if we needed to get some more wire until we could get them back out to replace the wire again, which we had the money because we was already figuring on having to replace it. So, but yeah, we got lucky there. So they're still figuring that out, seeing how the control box is going to sit. Like I said, these guys that came out that work for Gordon's Pump Service, these guys was excellent. I mean, it was No goofing off. It was nothing but work from the time they got there till the time it was in the ground and ready to go. They're asking me if I don't mind that control box sitting basically right on top of the well casing where the wires comes out. Any of you know that dealing with wells knows the control box and the pressure switch are usually one of the two things that go out on average. They have to be replaced. So the control box, if I got to replace that, which is something I've done before, it's not hard to do at all. But normally you have some extra slack in the wire where you can kind of move around and work on it a little bit easy. So if something happens and I do need to replace the control box at some point, I'm not going to have any slack to work with. It'll just be pretty much right there on top. So, I mean, it's doable, but it's just not going to be easy. As I'm just telling you, I don't mind. Do what you got to do. That way we don't have any splices in it. It's good solid wire from the control box all the way down to the pump. As you can see, there's not much wire at all for them to work with, but it'll work. We've got water now, so we are very happy. Things turned out way better than we had planned on, so yeah, I will work with not having any slack in that wire there if I need to replace the control box at some point. Like I said, these guys do excellent work. They've always treated us right whenever we've had to have them out here. So I'll shut up.
Hey guys, so we finally got running water, so I'm hoping my garden will come back to a little bit of life. I got a couple red tomatoes. Like I said, let's hope we can get them to, although my cucumbers.
This is her brown thumb.
Well, there's a little bit of green here. And down here, maybe they'll take off and rejuvenate. It was hard to keep a green thumb when we didn't have running water for a month. I carried water from work every day, but it got a little much for the garden. I don't know if that little guy's gonna live. Got a pepper. It's still green. And look at that. He's looking a little peaked too, but there's a little bitty cucumber there.
There's one.
Where'd he go? Right here. We'll see if they survive. Now that I can come out and water them in the morning and night.
As long as my maters live.
What is there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's lots of green ones on there.
Let me zoom you in here. Yeah, and then you can see some red peeking through there.
If anything, we can have fried green tomatoes.
Yep. There are flowers over there, though.
Yeah, they don't look so good either.
Of course, one of the pappies was playing in the firebox the other day, so that didn't help. So,
But we finally got running water on the ridge, and like I said, we'll see if we can nurse them back to health a little. Who knows?
We shall see.
Thanks, guys, for coming along. Remember to like and subscribe.
Leave a comment. Oh, let's see what we get into next. Bye-bye now.